Hi, and welcome back to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
We're all back together. I won't say we're all well, but we're all back together. I am still
keep your germs to yourself.
I don't think I have any more germs to share, but I got plenty going on in here. So I'm back. We're back together. I'm gonna go. It's what is it? April?
Yeah.
April.
Oh yeah.
Today's the 6th. Yeah.
I've been calling it. So the last few days, like on the 2nd, I don't know, somebody said something funny, and I said, April 2nd Fools. So today's April 6th Fools. I hope you're all doing well. Grab your stitching and let's talk. I'm going to go first today. So you know how I am. I've been working on Hannah's sweater. I'm going to show you that first because I've been doing a lot of work because I've been very sick. And, oops. And so I got into the border is completely finished. Little pretty.
That is going to be a beautiful sweater.
So the border's done. So excited. And I'm into the main body color, which is difficult to see. It's two different colors of brown and brown, and with brown and brown.
Brown and brown.
Brown and brown. But Mr. Brown is out of town. See, look how pretty, though. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a nice camel-colored sweater.
When you're further past that, you'll be able to
Oh,
see
yeah, yeah. I'm excited to get a couple inches of that color so I can really understand what it's going to look like. But I'm very proud of this. Been working on it. For a long time while I was sick, like I said, I couldn't knit, but I've had to stay quiet, so it's been good for me. And then I was checking my email, and I get email. I've talked about Dot Pebbles Knits before. I love her. She makes like animals and things like that.
Oh yeah, is she the one that makes the little tiny,
the original
tiny
frogs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The frog you were giving me for my birthday?
Yes, which is, yeah. The one-legged frog. Yes. And she, every month, if you're on her newsletter, if you would like, her name is Claire Garland, and Dot Pebbles Knits. Every month in her newsletter, she gives away a free pattern. And the free pattern this month is Pooh Bear. She doesn't call it officially Pooh Bear, but it's Pooh Bear.
It's cute. It like the old-fashioned one, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also the red sweater. So I saw that, and I'm like, I know what I'm making Hannah for her birthday / graduation / whatever. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm making her a graduation sweater. I know. But
isn't her birthday like in a couple of days?
Yeah. No, I know it's not really for her birthday. It's for her graduation. Or I'm gonna take it. I think I'm gonna take it at her.
She could be
recital.
like me, just celebrate her birthday all month long.
Yep, and into May. So I think I'm gonna take it with me when we go for her recital. Not her. So my aim is 1 month. Her recital is on May 5th. Mm-hmm. So I was at work and I had to leave for a doctor's appointment. And on the way back, I went to the yarn shop. Okay, because I'm like, I'm gonna get this and I'm gonna start it. So this is, I just started this, but I decided to go buy straight needles today because I usually, when it calls for straight needles, I use my double points. But this is already the head, and I thought, I'm afraid it's going to crowd this short needle. So I got some long straight needles. I like Joann's, okay? I went to Joann's on the way here. And I wanted to buy a size 3 set and a size 4 set, and they didn't have any hanging there. And I know it's a big box store, and that's what you get, but I went and I said to the girl, there just happened to be a girl at the end of the salesperson at the end of the aisle, and I said, do you happen to have any more, do you know if you have any more of these size 4s? And she doesn't look at anything, she doesn't investigate anything, she doesn't ask, she just goes, no, we don't. know, it's like everything that we have is out on the shelf. Okay, but I just thought, could you just say that, or pretend you're looking at something, or pretend you're going to check something? So anyway.
On the other hand, Walmart, who's supposed to have people that never want to help you, right? That's what you always hear.
All the time.
They help all the time.
Yeah. And they have their little computers, and they go, "Oh yeah, we do have two more."
When I got that thing, I said, "You only have one of these on the shelf, but it's got a crack in it. Do you have another one?" And she's like, "Well, they're supposed to be right there." And she goes, "Well, I just have that smaller one." And so,
what are you talking about?
The little easel thing.
Oh, this thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no. They're very helpful there. But anyway, I got over it because I thought that's just what she's been taught. So anyway, so I got these, and then when I went to buy the yarn from Tempe Yarn and Fiber, this is sorry for the crinkling. Where's my label? Here's my label. I had them wound it for me because I thought maybe I'll start it at work, which I didn't do, but this is 220 Superwash Sport in the colorway, oh no, golden. It looked like a Pooh Bear color to me. And the reason this is a big deal, and we all understand, and I forgot I didn't share this.
I was going to say, tell them why.
Is because Hannah has loved Pooh Bear from the moment she was born. She had this beautiful plush Pooh Bear when she was very young that she was attached to. And when we went on an airplane once, she left it, but the flight attendants brought it off the plane into the gate because as soon as I realized it was gone, we went back to our gate, and I'm like, my daughter left Pooh Bear on the plane. Like we are in a foreign city, and not foreign, but a different city, and I do not know what I'm going to do if this child has a meltdown. She was 2, and so they said, well, hang on a second, because the plane was still there. So somebody ran on, and they got the Pooh Bear and brought it to us. It was a miracle. And then maybe, I don't know, a few years later, she loved that thing. We were at a doctor's appointment for her brother, and she was playing with it in the lobby. And I didn't notice, but she must have left it. Or it fell under a chair, you know. So we get out to the car, no Pooh Bear. So I call up there, and it was late in the day, like they were closing. And they went out in the lobby, and they're like, it's not in the lobby. It's not in any of our exam rooms. So some other mother
let their
child take someone else's stuffed animal. And I'm not at all trying to embarrass my daughter, but it was actually serious. She went through every stage of grief on the way home that day. It was one of the most painful days of motherhood in my life because there was nothing I could do. And we literally drove straight to the Disney store at the mall and walked that whole entire... I was like ready to go, let's go to Disneyland, and and we walked that entire Disney store, and for whatever reason, those same Pooh Bears were out of style in that particular week.
Because she had an old-fashioned one.
Yeah,
she didn't have the newer kind.
Yeah. I mean, and so the one that we found, the only Pooh Bear they had was a farmer Pooh Bear. He's really cute. He was wearing overalls, and he had a little straw hat. And so she picked him. And the straw hat had quickly disappeared, but that farmer Pooh Bear is in Boston with her right now. So she
kind of like Beth and her elephant. You were too young to remember that.
Yeah, no. This Pooh Bear he's a long-term Pooh Bear. Anyway, so he's still she has him at college, and but I thought, well, a hand knit one I think will be a good because. Transitioning to the next chapter.
It looks like the one she used to have.
Kind of. And it's so cute. So today I put a thing of eyes and little bear noses in Mark's Amazon cart. I'm like, I need those as soon as possible because, I'm working on the head and the eyes go in the head before you stuff it. So eyes and nose. So anyway, this is my new thing. And then while I was at Joe Nan's, because right now this is serving as my temporary project bag. And don't tell me I have enough project bags. I know I do, okay?
I don't.
There's no such thing as
I also bought at Tempe Yarn and Fiber, I bought size 4 of these double points because I could only find my size 3. I know my 4s are somewhere in a project, but I didn't know where, so I bought more.
That's like
and then
that's
I
why
decided
I have a pair of scissors in every
I know.
project bag.
And then I decided, no, I want the straight needles, so I got the straight needles. And then, because I was using this bag, and I thought, I don't want a big bag for this bear. I want a little bag. And all my bags at home are kind of big. You know, I didn't want to
Tote
put it in a
bags.
big tote bag with this tiny little bear. So I bought a big bag. Because I had a 40% off coupon. And I've never bought one of these before. These are these big twist, these storage bags. And I've always liked them. I've liked the idea of them. So here we're going to do an unboxing together here. I had a 40% off coupon, so it was almost half off, right? So it's got a zipper at the top, and it's got these little grommets so that you can thread yarn through it like a yarn bowl. I don't understand that. I don't understand people that do that because, in my opinion, where do you put your project? Now I understand now because it's got this, you can put your project in here and the yarn would just loop around. But if you're working on a big project out here and it loops through here and the yarn's in there, you are stuck. You are always stuck in the same bag and position. I don't believe in that. Anyway, but I thought this was a nice little medium size. And the reason I was forward thinking, it's probably too small for Hannah's sweater, but I had a thought toward Boston because I could take this and all my, and it's got little side pockets.
It's got some on the inside too.
Yeah, and it's got needle pockets here. Move your drink, Beth. Oh, drink's in my. It's got needle pockets right here for straight needles, but you could put whatever. And then on the inside, on every inside wall, it has like pockets for like patterns or whatever. And it's deep. And so I'm kind of curious to see if, oh yeah, this sweater will fit in here. So this will be my go to Boston knitting bag.
And it's got that zipper.
Oh
thing
yeah, I
on the
didn't show
outside,
that.
too.
It's got a zipper. It's like for crochet hooks and. Oh, it was already open. Oh, or the zipper's
zipper?
messed up.
Oh. Oops.
That's okay. I'll fix it. So it's got like for crochet hooks, it's got a little Notions zipper pouch, which is nice. And it'll fit scissors and such. Hopefully the zipper's not busted. Hopefully. No, it's good.
Yeah.
It was just misaligned. So anyway, that's my little new little project bag. So I'm gonna take this to Boston with me, and because it zips shut. I mean, it has openings on the sides, but it'll zip shut for travel, and not be so like. Well, because I love my Vera Bradley bag, but all it has is the magnet, and I worry that if it dumps over, things fall out, kind of thing. So I'm excited about this, and it was 40% off. The committee, which was not consulted prior to purchase, can't be too upset about it. He's my committee. I'm his committee. We talk about that. I have to petition the committee. But anyway, I don't believe the committee will be upset about this because it was almost half. 40% is almost half. So anyway, that's me. That's all I have today.
Can I go next? No, Beth go next because you have a finish. Excuse me. Before Beth goes,
Talking is hard.
these are all patterns on our Three Sisters Creative. I just put the spring ones.
Sorry for the crinkling. Okay. Sorry, what? Oh, those are spring patterns that you can purchase.
Yeah, except I think I have the bunny backwards. I think that's his bottom rather than his front.
This is the bunny right here?
Yeah. It's a two-sided thing.
No, that's just... Oh, I don't know.
There's a front and a back.
I get it. See.
That's the front.
There's the back with his little butt, and here's the front with his
Yeah,
face.
it was the butt facing.
No, I saw his little face before.
and the little board here with the flowers on it.
Flamingo is two-sided as well, right?
Yeah, it is. But that, I have to double check that I actually put it on the Etsy shop. I think I did. And on the outside of that is a beaded
It's
trim.
It's really
trim.
pretty.
Yeah.
And which...
And you made this one twice, right? You put it on.
Yeah, there was something that I changed on the one that that's on the little board. And I don't remember what it was, but I didn't want to use it. And so I ended up fully finishing it like that. Mm-hmm. But I put the one that I actually put, this one over here, the little pillow, is on the
one that's on the Etsy shop.
Yeah. And then
And then there's one here with the duck.
April flowers. April showers is May flowers. So the duck is the April showers.
Cute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, they're on our Etsy shop.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
I'll double check about the flamingo. I think it's there, but I don't remember for sure.
So this month I'm having a cottage garden samplings palooza because they all came up in my WIP-GO. And then also as my secondary projects, I had a cottage garden samplings project and Rabbit. And because I chose April because it was April. Sweet. Okay. So this is Ink Circles Rabbit for April. And I was about halfway-ish done because I had done all like one color of all the flowers and I had done 2 of the rabbits. And they're pretty simple, to do. So I was able to finish the other rabbits, and I thought, well, heck, because I think, with these rabbits, I've been doing like 1 or 2 days, to have worked on them. And famously, the one I did last month, I did it and had to take out a whole bunch of it. So I haven't made any more progress on that. But So I decided to do April, and I decided to work on it a few more days, and so I have a finish. I finished the April rabbit, and this is these are in Gloriana silks. All these rabbits, the called for silks, and so that's one silk thread over 2. This is 32 count Murano Carré. That I always lament that Hobby Lobby no longer carries all, but I think they only have 1 color now. But anyway, so that's my finish.
Yay. Can I ask you, do you have a pen?
Yes, I do, in my bag.
Yes,
Don't you have one in that box behind you?
Not a pen.
Oh.
Because
I have one right here.
I printed this pattern out, which is unlike me, but I need a pen to keep track of my rows. Thank you.
So my other secondary project was this cottage garden samplings, the woodpecker. This is number 9. This is one of the ones I had not started yet. I've started all the others except 7, 8, and 9, and so 9 I hadn't started. So there's this, and I'm doing them all 3 at a time on the same green fabric, and I don't know if it's 38 or 20, or 32 or 28 count. I can never remember. But anyway, I spent a few days.
I think it's 32.
Yeah, I kind of think it is.
Because this is 32.
Yeah. But so I spent a couple of days working on this border because they're all because in order to do the 3rd one in the series, I had to do the border so I could know where to put them. And so I did it all the way to here, to the end of the thread in this case. And then because the woodpecker is right up on the top of the pattern, I was able to start on the actual woodpecker instead of all the flora, branches and vines and whatever in each of these patterns, the woodpecker is right up in the corner. So I was able to do his head. So there's another color of red in this red head of the woodpecker and another color in the beak, but I wanted to get something recognizable, so there's the start of the woodpecker. And I think I only did like, yesterday was Thursday, so I started it Wednesday evening, you know, the actual woodpecker. And I was madly stitching this, the end of this, the yellow and the beak, early this morning. But so, yeah.
Yeah, she was doing that instead of getting dressed.
Yeah. I was like, still in my pajamas. Ah. No, actually, I was working on the ferret this morning. So this is my other WIP-GO call was the ferret. Did I show the other one?
Doesn't matter.
No, I haven't started the other one yet. So this was one of my WIP-GO calls, was the ferret. And I just started that today. And I had done the border already, because this is number 5. So 4 was the first one in this set. And so on this one, the last time I worked on it, which was like, I guess maybe last May, maybe, or last summer, last year, I did just like 1.5 petals of this little flower in the corner. So I hadn't gotten to the ferret himself. So I can't get to the ferret unless I finish this flower. So I'm right now working on this, more of the petal on the ferret. And then just briefly, I worked on, sorry about that, on more on this Give Greatly pattern. And because I finally tracked down this other bobbin of this greenish, grayish color. Excuse me. So I finished the bunny. I don't remember if I showed this last week or not, but
yes.
So I finished the bunny completely because I put that other color in his sweater, and so I used it to do a little bit more on the of the scarf of the snowman. But I wanted to do his arm, because his arm, you know, it's the only place that uses that color is in his arms, the little twig arms. So I was doing the arm, and you'll notice that the arm is not there. So I did the arm, and I had done like, because I had like a shorter piece of thread, a pair of threads, and a longer pair. And it's fancy floss, so I was doing, okay, I want to do one next at a time, and
explain why you make that decision. Is it because it's variegated, or not
Yeah.
variegated but tonal?
Well, yeah, because usually the thread is somewhat variegated, and so you do one X at a time. And usually, like if you're doing 2 over 2 or whatever, you're doing 2 individual threads rather than using the loop method. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times that's really just personal preference, because it just depends on how you want the variegation to look.
Mm-hmm.
Whether
okay.
you know.
Sorry, I just.
So anyway. So I thought, oh, okay, well, I can, use these, this little length of thread. If I use it, 2 threads, it'll be fine. And I had gotten all the way down, almost finished with this little arm section, and I realized, I was thinking, why is it so hard to see what I'm doing? It's because this is 1 thread over 2, not 2 threads over 2, and all that I had done in his arm, I had done with 2 threads, and it was coming out like, it was kind of wonky, and it was really hard to do. And so I thought, okay, and I realized I had done the upper part of his arm in 2 threads also, so I just took it all out. and then this morning when I was looking at it, I was trying to decide, did I show this or not? Did I do any more in this? And I was looking at it, and I'm like, did the cat put his paws on this because it's all stained? And I'm like, that's where I put the thread out. So anyway, there's that. And then the other thing was Eve forced me to go to the attic again.
I didn't force you. I asked you.
Took your arm and
Twisted it. So
And you said you were just going to buy the thread that you were missing.
Yes, I was thinking, oh, I'm just missing a couple of threads. You know, they were out of a couple of the colors last time I was there, and I'm just going to get those 2 colors.
She has absolutely no willpower.
Yes. So
what did you do?
So I bought more of this chalk because I have 2 or 3 patterns that call for this, like some of the cottage garden samplings, they call for 2 skeins of chalk, and also
when I wasn't looking, I was looking at my knitting, and you said I bought this chalk, and I was like, what do you need chalk for? Is that some new technique? You like chalk?
The color chalk.
Oh,
and another and that woodpecker calls for 2 skeins of coal, and I think I only have 1, so I thought, oh, I'll go ahead and buy another. And these are not heavily variegated, so the dye lot, is not going to matter. And then on Eve, I don't know if I have this or not, so I went ahead and bought it.
I thought you said Aunt Eve.
On Eve. And rhubarb is...
That's an endive to you and I.
And rhubarb is the one color that I was missing the other day that goes on that... it goes on the Collection Tralala Faithless Santa that I was doing, that I did the face on, finally. And then this, so then I bought some other colors that are on another pattern that I bought. And then this one, Pelican Gray I bought because I was using it on one of these patterns, and I realized that the skein I have is kind of running out. And so these colors are all for another pattern that I just bought. Oh, here's another one. Apple fritter.
I like that different color variation.
Yeah,
It's good.
yeah.
Come here, Rope.
So, so these multiple colors are for this pattern. And I didn't buy all of them. I knew that there were a couple that I had already, but I bought several of them. And this one I came across, this is by All Through the Night Folk Art Designs. I've never done anything by them before. But it's called Use What Talents You Possess. And the little, it has some birds on there, on the sides here, little birds and these little plants. But it says, use what talents you possess. The woods would be silent if no birds sang there except those that sang best. So I thought that was really nice. And there's one designer that I'm thinking about getting the pattern that I like most. I'd seen on Lindy Stitches. It was somebody that she saw in Nashville, and so just recently started carrying a lot of her designs. And so I'd seen some of them that were on Lindy Stitches newsletter, and I've been thinking about them. And at the attic, I think I only saw one of them, and it was not among my top favorite of that design. So I'm still debating that. But then I got the Indiana thread milk statehood square, and this is what I bought the apple fritter for. It's on this thing. I figured out that all of these, I hadn't really looked at all of them, but I think they're all in reds of some sort, and so yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah, and they didn't have. I didn't buy the Arkansas one before, did I? I bought
New
Mexico and Arizona.
No.
Did
and
I buy
Arkansas.
Did I buy Arkansas?
Yeah, because you said 3 A's thinking of Albuquerque.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you have Arkansas, Arizona,
and then I need to call
New
the attic
Mexico.
because they didn't have it, and I thought, do I need to order that? And so I went ahead and ordered it, but I think
you already have it.
yeah. So yeah, and I just didn't have the wherewithal to look for it.
I think Thread Stash will work on that phone that you're on, and you can look and see what you have, so you don't buy it again.
Well, I don't know if I put it in there yet. So.
Yeah,
Well,
but
then
as
you-
soon as you buy, I put
know.
mine in
Good.
the day I buy it,
Yeah.
because I don't want to be buying stuff twice.
So anyway, that's me.
Okay. So right now, I have 2 new starts. This is one of them. I couldn't resist starting. Far Better Things by Sweet Wing Studio. Says there are far, far better things ahead than any we leave behind. And I like that sentiment. And of course, it has the light post from the first Narnia. My other new start was, unsurprisingly, Blueberry for that berry basket. I mean, it's not a huge new, you can't even see anything. It's not a huge new start. Just the very top half of the top. I was more comfortable starting further down because I know that now that this piece of fabric is way too big. But that's all right. It's better than too small.
Yes.
So that was my second new start. Now, the reason that I wanted to go to the attic was because I was working on my WIP-GO project, one of them for this month, Silent Night by Stitching with the Housewives. And I like sparkles. So I'm putting a clear filament sparkle thread in all of the snowflakes, and
So
this pattern has a gazillion million snowflakes.
gazillion million.
Mm-hmm. Technical term. Anyway, some of the snowflakes are blue, and many of the white ones have like blue centers or little blue edges. And I had decided to use a blue Kreinig that I had that was the same color to do the blues. And I like the way it looks. It's sparkly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm working on this, and I needed another length of that Kreinig for, there's a completely blue snowflake here. And I went ahead and started the new thread, and as I was taking it off of that spool, I realized that I was going to run out probably before I finished doing this pattern. And I also did the same thing on And to All a Good Night. Okay, I like sparkly things, all right? So I went to the attic I thought about ordering it. 1, 2, 3 stitch. They had it in stock, and I thought, okay, I'll just order it. And then I thought, tomorrow's Friday. Let's go. So I went to the attic, and they didn't have it in stock, and so I ordered it. And I got a phone call saying, you may want to go ahead and just order it online if you know someplace that has it. Because apparently the person who owns Kreinig has decided to retire and has sold the company to
Rainbow Gallery?
Yeah, to another company, and they probably will not start making that Kreinig again until whenever they decide to. So she said it could be a long time before you can get that. And so I had to come back home and order it. So I have a little bit where I can work some more. And this is the very fine braid, so it's much easier to use than some of the other Kreinik products. So I was like, is there something else I could do? Could I use the called for blue and put the filament over it, which is what I'm doing with the white? And I thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, but half of it is the way I started it, and it would look different. Would it look bad? Probably not, but it would look different. So I went ahead and ordered it. If I had not started that at all, it wouldn't be a problem. But that's why we went to the attic. And so I bought nothing. Beth was talking to somebody, and I'm like, I had even told some of the people at the attic, I am not looking at anything. I came in for this. If you don't have it, that's fine. I'm leaving. Because I have all this stuff that I bought before, some of which I haven't even started yet. So that's why we went to the attic. And that's that. And
while we were at the attic, there was a lady there who was, shopping or whatever, and she goes, "Do I know you?" She goes, "Do you do Flosstube? I think I've seen you on Flosstube." Like, oh, hi.
So
if you're watching, hello.
Erica Michaels, Happy Hanukkah. I hadn't worked on it all week, but after I did my temperature totals, I decided to do some work on it. I didn't get a lot more done, and I'll tell you why. Because I realized that while I thought I had 2 threads, I had 3. So I had to take out everything that I had and go back and do it with 2. And then I'm stitching along, and I was like, what is going on here? And I look in the back of it, and there is this giant knot. I mean, I don't know how this knot got this big. I don't know what happened there. It took me forever. I mean, it was so bad that I was like, I'm just going to cut this thread. Because it was a knot with a knot and another knot. And I was like,
yeah.
And there was no knot there. And then all of a sudden there was. And I was like, how does this happen? Those little loopy knots, those happen all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if you're vigilant and notice them right away, they're easy to take out.
And usually I can kind of tell because I'll be going along and, and the thread is a certain length, and then all of a sudden, it comes up short, and I'm like, okay, well, that's not normal.
Yeah.
And so usually I can catch them, but yeah.
It's the largest knot that I've ever had, and it took forever. Now, there's some where I've just given up and cut, but those are all usually just tiny ones that I can't get them to come out because they're so small. But
if it goes through the fabric, I'll leave it and just pray that it ends up in the back or underneath something. Yeah, because I ain't dealing with that.
Yeah. Anyway, so I didn't get as much work done as the hours I put into it would. Now, you'll be able to tell by my temperature turtle the entirely crazy weather that we have had.
Mm-hmm. I texted them it's another interesting turtle day.
So this is Stitchin' Mommy's temperature turtles, and I am on, I think that's April. So let me put it right side up. So this blue color was the last day of March, and it was so cold. It was so cold and rainy that day that the news was going, let's look at at the lower temperatures, you know, what we've had in years past on Easter, and they went through and they're like, no, it hasn't been that cold since like 1989 or 18, I don't know, a long time.
Because I was gonna wear, I have like a springish
for
dress.
Easter. Yeah, I remember
for
you
Easter,
said it was too cold.
and it's a sleeveless dress with a little jacket thing, but it's made out of that thin jersey material. And I thought, I was so set. I think, great, I'm gonna wear that on Easter, blah blah blah. And then like it got really cold and really rainy, and I'm like, I can't wear that.
I was going to wear a dress that my mom had bought me. It's the last dress my mom bought me, and it is lace. And I was like, I'm not wearing that because I can't wear a coat over it. Because it was raining. I mean, you know, in the morning when we left, it was pouring. We got to the church, and it was not too bad. We come back out, it's pouring, you know. And then, did it get any better? No. It got up to 89 and then went back down to 60.
Yeah, we had a horrible day of heat. And I was like, ugh, okay.
See, that's that yellow day right there.
Yeah, I know.
And
weird. Friday, because I was thinking, because we were going to the attic, and I was thinking I was not going to wear anything really really warm, because it had been
80.
in the 80s the day before, Thursday, I guess, and then so I said something to Eve, and Eve's like, it's only going to be 60 something, and I'm like,
I got dressed for work, and I'm like, wait, what? It's not 80?
Yeah.
I was freezing all day. Come here, Rove.
Fortunately, the sun was warm enough. But.
So, I'm using some of the same colors that I used in my January. But like, it'll have a really hot day, and then it'll go 2 cold days, and then it'll warm up to a really hot day.
Then I saw it was good.
It's
I
supposed
saw
to be
90s
90s. Yeah.
coming.
Yes. Yeah. Like low 90s later this week. Next week.
Can we wonder why we're sick?
I told Naomi, I said, you go out in that every day. That's why you're sick. It's cold one day and sweltering the next day, and then cold the next day.
Ugh.
And damp. Yeah. So I haven't taken a picture of this one yet. I better put this one in a different pile. So now, occasionally I look through Facebook. Not every day. I'm really bad about any kind of social media stuff. Excuse me. So I'm scrolling through, and I see this.
It's a little fox.
It's a little
like
fox.
A little white fox.
It's a little tiny white fox. See how small it is
Cute.
there in her hand. And I said, ooh, I want that. So I clicked on that.
And you bought something else. I see it.
And it came in a package. I didn't print out the other one because I probably won't do it.
Is this a crochet thing also, or?
Yeah. Yeah, it's crochet.
Oh, okay.
It came, you could get just this, but for not very much more, you could get 3
Cute.
3 patterns. Well, the other 2, there's a baby cows, which they're okay, but I don't have anybody that would want a baby cow. And then 4 puppies. And this is the first puppy picture I saw.
So cute.
And I thought, okay, I like that puppy. The other ones are big and not huge, just bigger than this guy. This guy's relatively small. And I said, I want those puppies. Okay, I'll get all 3. So when you were talking about doll eyes and all that, I'm like, yeah, I need to get some doll eyes and stuff. I could probably embroider the eyes on, but I'd rather just do it the way the pattern says. Their noses are not, I think their noses are embroidered on. But I have no intention of doing these anytime soon. But they were so cute. And I thought, well, if I get the supplies for whichever one I want to start first, probably this little fox because he's tiny and, you know, I could work on it occasionally. And what would I do with it? I don't know.
Cuddle it.
Rose might
sweet to
chew
it.
on it.
It's so little that if I leave it anywhere where the dog can get it, it will be shredded. I cannot get the dog toys that
That have
that are
fabric.
cloth
Yeah.
because I have to watch her carefully, and I end up throwing them away within an hour or so because
But that hour
she
was
loves them
fun.
and she has a lot of fun for that hour. So since I'm the last one, I'm going to swing into some stories.
Okay.
So I wanted to go to Sam's. It was Tuesday because we were going to go to get groceries on Wednesday. And I said, let's go see what they have in the way of snacks.
She had to guess up anyway. So.
Yeah, I was going to gas up anyway, so it was practically on empty. So I
I'm gonna
found
sneeze, just FYI.
there was one handicap spot that I found. And, you know, at Sam's, the handicap parking is not necessarily wide like, they have some that are wider and, you know, you can have a van or whatever, but they're normally just slightly wider than regular spots. So I pull into that one and we go shop. And there was a car there beside me when I pulled in. Okay. But there was a different car beside me when we came out. And this car had parked over their line close enough to my car that I could not get in. I could open the door about this much. I mean, there was just absolutely no way I could squeeze in there.
Like we used to say, thanks for the compliment, but I don't fit.
Yeah. So I'm like, I could open the back door and maybe climb over the middle thing, but I don't think so with my knees, you know. And then I went around the other side and I was like, well, maybe, because it does have an opening technically that you can kind of go through. So we had to close, there's a drawer that pulls out that has an extra cup holder that I put a little trash thing in. So we close all that, that closes that, and here I am climbing over the middle part of the, and twisting my legs, and I'm like, that hurts so much to get in.
Oh my gosh.
And because I thought about getting the license plate and going in and calling them and telling them to come and move their blasted car.
Yeah.
Because you could be in Sam's for an hour, 2 hours, you know.
Yeah.
Who knows? And then you stand in line to pay for the stuff. Mm-hmm. So, or they could go in and eat and, you know, whatever. It's like, I'm not waiting. And so if I had not been able to climb in through the right side, I would have had to go inside and tell them to call whoever it is to move their car. I'm glad I didn't have to, because that person probably wouldn't have come. That's not my car. Also, several weeks ago, probably early March, I made an appointment to see my orthopedist because I'm having a lot of trouble with my knee. And it's always the same knee. And it's always the same thing, you know, arthritis. And I've gotten where I can walk pretty normally, but if I'm sitting, I can't unbend my knee. So without using my hand to do it. So decided to just go back in and talk to the orthopedist and see what they thought. And I made the appointment, which is supposed to be on Monday. I got a phone call earlier this week. And they said, your referral has run out, so we need you to renew that referral. Now it's Wednesday. I was like, and I have to do that before Monday, or we need to reschedule, right? She goes, yeah. So I made an appointment, with my primary care for a virtual appointment on Thursday morning, and we talked. I talked to a tech or somebody beforehand, and I told her I needed a new referral for my right knee, and I talked to the doctor who has seen me often and is in my papers, right knee issues, right, and the orthopedist office calls me again yesterday, and they say, yeah, we got the referral, but it says left knee. We can't see you for your right knee if this says left knee. I said, left knee? It says left knee. So I called the main switchboard line for the primary care. And he said, yeah, your orthopedist has called me, and, we'll have somebody call you soon. I said, I need this done today. And they had somebody call me, who I could not understand.
Oh, no.
And whose phone connection was so bad that I could only hear a syllable every other word. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't understand anything you're telling me. A, I can't hear you. You're too soft. And B, I'm only getting part of what you're saying. And he goes, well, it sounds like it might be the connection because I'm having trouble hearing you too. So I'll call back. And he did, and it was marginally better. I put it on speaker, which kind of helped, but we were having trouble making each other understood. And English wasn't his first language, but I don't think that was the problem. I think it was just...
Yeah.
Technical
issues.
And I was like, look, I don't care how you get this done. I just need it done. I need this to be correct by today so that I can go to the doctor on Monday. And he said, well, we've contacted your primary care's office, and he hasn't gotten back to us. I said, no. I don't care about all of that. Don't call me back. Don't do it. Just get it done. And he goes, after trying to make myself understood for the better part of an hour, with him talking to me and coming back and then hanging up and calling back, and he says, can I just text you? Yes, why don't you do that? Now, he said, we'll let you know when it's done. I never heard back from them. So I got a thing from the ortho, to confirm the appointment, but I'm going to have to call in the morning and say, did you get the proper paperwork? And the thing is that I have zero idea.
Can you go to your primary care and say, print a referral out for me? But they have to have, and then just drive it over to the ortho?
Maybe.
Well, I had a similar thing yesterday because, okay, I have been very sick and went to see my primary, and she's like, oh, you're sicker than you thought you were, and here's new meds. So one was actually I also asked for a new nebulizer machine. And
I'm going to have to get one myself.
Because I was like, mine is dying. It's burning hot every time I use it, and it sounds like it's on its last leg. She's like, oh, that's easy. She goes, but half the pharmacies have them in stock and half don't. So they might send you to a durable medical equipment place, or, you have to find a pharmacy that carries them. And I said, okay. And then some new medicine for that nebulizer, and then a new inhaler. And so I go to my trusty CVS, who almost never let me down, and they're like, we don't carry these, and they do give me a name of a durable medical equipment place, and I'm like, I really don't want to do that. And so while I was waiting for my meds, I called. Now, I don't want to offend anybody, but I called my least favorite pharmacy in the world, which is Walgreens. And I have a long history with Walgreens.
There's a reason why it's your least favorite.
Yeah, I have a long history with Walgreens. It just seems like every interaction with them is like unbelievable. Like,
did you know that
unbelievably incompetent?
Did you know that this Walgreens right here? They told me later on about why I was having so many problems. That's why we ended up changing their pharmacy. This one was a training one. That's why nobody knew what they were doing.
Oh my gosh. Well, anyway, I called Walgreens and I was like, I called the one near me and I was like, do you carry, nebulizer machines? And they're like, yeah. Let me see if we have them in stock. I was like, okay. Walgreens for the win. And he comes back and he goes, I don't have any in stock, but let me, very nicely, unlike the Joann's girl, let me look around and see who has one. And he goes, okay, I have, they have one out at this particular Walgreens and that particular Walgreens. I was like, okay, great. And I was on my way back to work and also extremely tired, and I asked Mark, I'm like, can you go get this new machine for me later today? Because he was working from home. And he's like, sure. So while I was there, CVS says, I don't have the inhaler in stock. And we could order it, or we could see if another pharmacy has it. And I said, actually, my husband's going to Walgreens later to get a machine. Could he, what is happening to me? Could he fill it at Walgreens? And she's like, sure, just have them, if they have it, just have them call us. We'll send the script to Walgreens and you can fill it there. It's great. So, so later that afternoon, Mark goes to Walgreens. And first they said, we don't have the nebulizer machine, and then they did. And then he had a piece of paper printed out from, not the prescription, but a piece of paper printed out from CVS with the name of the inhaler thing. And gave it to the girl, and she looked at it, and they talked. Okay, we have it. And then they said, we have it, but it'll be a few minutes, and they'll text you when it's done. And I'm like, why would it take time
to get a box?
To print a label, stick it on? Like, why don't you just tell him to wait for it? But they didn't tell him to wait for it. So he left with the machine. And he told me, they're going to text you when it's ready. And I didn't think about it at the time. And I didn't get a text. I didn't get a text. And so then I came home, and he goes, well, see if it's probably ready. We can go get it. And so I'm like, well, I'm going to call. So I called and I said, I've been waiting on this inhaler. Is it ready yet? Now, this particular Walgreens is not very far from the house. It's a little hike, but it's not far. Okay. It's maybe, it's a Warner and Dobson. Not far. A few miles, right? Not my super close one, right? But anyway. So I call over there, and they're like, yeah, well, we never got the prescription from CVS. We asked for it this afternoon, but we never got it back. And I was like,
that doesn't sound like CVS.
Right. My boys got my back at CVS. I don't believe you. So I call over there. So I'm like, I hung up, and I called CVS. Or he goes, well, I can call them back and ask them again. I'm like, okay, you do that. And then I called CVS. And I said, they're saying they didn't get it. And he goes, no, I show that we sent it over there at 2:48 this afternoon. Like, of course you did. Thank you very much. So I called them back, and I said, oh, and the other problem with Walgreens, if you call and ask stupid little robot lady to speak to a pharmacist, like, okay, we're getting someone to help. This happened both times I called. And they said, so somebody answers, and I started asking a specific question. She's like, "Oh, I'm just in the call center, so I need to transfer you to the actual store." Even though I was calling the actual store, it still sent me to this call center, which people, they just look up your stuff on the computer. So when I called back, the person answered, and I said, "No, I need to speak to someone at the actual store." And like, "Oh, okay," and they transferred me. And I told that guy, the CVS said that they sent it this afternoon. "Oh yeah, I see it there now. It just came through now. I don't know why it hadn't come through in all this time." I'm like, "Because you're dumb.
Because you didn't look at the computer.
You didn't look in the right place." All right, we're coming. But, oh, no. No, that's right. So he goes, "But actually, we don't have it in stock." And I was like,
"And let me kill you now."
Okay. And so he goes, so let me look and see what's the closest one that has it. Brown and Greenfield.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm going to go get it because...
Didn't any CVS have it closer?
I didn't ask. Because I stupidly thought that since Mark was going to Walgreens...
It would be easier.
It'd be easier. And now they've already transferred the prescription. So I'm like... Mark's like, "Fine." So we all got in the car and we did a little family trip out to Northeast Mesa. Here we go.
Robert had a swim meet over there, and
slept
it's like it's so far.
I was like, "I'm gonna sit in the back and sleep," because I never get to sit in the back. I always drive everywhere, so it was nice. Mark drove, and we had a little family outing, and we got dinner on the way home. But I was just like, "Are you kidding me? Brown and Greenfield." I'm like, oh. So anyway, that was I'm like, "Walgreens, why you always do me dirty like this? You always, there's always something."
When I think I told the story before about my computer. This was, I think it was this computer that I have now that I bought in 2010 after my other computer was stolen. Anyway, but I had it for about, I want to say about a year. I can't remember, but I had it for a little while, and then I started noticing that, like, when I would, like, say I got up to go to the bathroom, or I got up to make something to eat, or something like that, ordinarily it would go to the screensaver, right? And then I would just just wiggle the mouse or whatever, and it would pop back up, right? But then I started noticing that when I would get up and go somewhere, and the screen would go, instead of going to the screensaver, the screen would just go black, and no matter what I did, nothing would bring the picture back, would wake it up. And so I would have to, in that case, I'd have to do like a hard...
like a restart.
I'd have to hit the big button on the computer, because you couldn't even, choose to restart it or choose because it wouldn't wake up. And so I thought, well, that's not normal.
Was the battery on it going up?
It was the power... Was it the power source? Is the cable inside the computer that was, I guess, was bad or something. So I had taken it, the hard drive, I had taken it to Best Buy, and the one that I usually went to, there was I think there was two. There was one in North Little Rock, which is pretty far, and one in West Little Rock, which is pretty far, which is all the way across town. But so I had taken the hard drive, drove all the way across town to the Best Buy, to the, their Geek Squad or whatever.
Excuse me.
And so I took the hard drive in there, and I had to go through, you have to tell them, yes, I want to, then to pull all the stuff off, say all the files off the hard drive. And so I had to leave the computer there, and I, went about my business, whatever. I came back, I think. but they diagnosed that yes, it's the power source, the power cable inside, right? So they were going to put a new one in there, and then like put all my files, whatever, back on there. So they did all that, and I picked it up at some point and took it all the way back home, and got it all set up again, and it did the same thing again. And not every time, but like every once in a while it would, so I took it back and I said, it's still doing this. And what they discovered is that the power cable, the power source thing that they put in there, apparently, I think that it was one they had salvaged from some other computer or something.
One? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because they found that one of the little pins, where they, I don't know, plug it in to whatever, that's a little part of it was broken. And so this girl was telling me, yeah, apparently they used a broken one or whatever, and they wanted to charge me full price to replace it, and I'm like, no, I'm not paying for that. And so they said, okay, sorry, and they replaced it, and then I got it home, and there were no files on it. They had not backed up my files.
Oh no!
I don't know if that was the first time or the second time that I took it back, that it didn't have the files on it, and I took it, So I had to go all the way back across town and say, where are my files that were supposed to be put on there? Oh, I forgot to put, And so I was like,
why did they take your files off?
because so that if they
had to reformat the
Yeah.
hard
Well, it's
drive.
fine to copy them.
yeah, that's what I meant. I mean, well, I don't know, but everything is taken off and put on a.
Did they put a new hard drive in there?
I don't think so. It was just the power cable thing.
Oh my gosh.
But it was like you're supposed to take everything off and put everything back on.
I married a hero because I had a brand new laptop from Costco, and we bought twin laptops because he copies everything I do, and mine suddenly would stop holding a charge, and it would just die on me, even when it was plugged in. Mm-hmm. So we start researching what's going on. What is it a driver? What is it? And he tried to do that, and it didn't work, and so then he orders a new battery, and he figured out how to take the back off a laptop, which is not easy, and he put a new battery in and fixed it, because I was about to take it to Geek Squad. And he's like, no. And then a little while later, we have a Seagate, which we're learning we need to back up also as a backup to all of our photos and videos and everything are on there. And one day because I had this story that was on my old laptop, and I wanted to put it on my new laptop because I got my new software, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. But anyway, I went to use the Seagate, and it says there are no files here, or the files are corrupted. And I was like, no, it cannot be. That cannot be corrupted. We cannot lose these things. And so I was like, I guess we can take it to Best Buy, and they can pull the information off, Mm-hmm. And he goes, no. So he started researching, and that man fixed that external hard drive. He figured out through his research which driver was corrupted, and he replaced it, and it's functional again. So we have avoided the Geek Squad because I married one.
You know how when you got married,
2, 3, 4, 5,
or maybe it was
6,
when you
7.
graduated, I heard a guitarist, and then maybe you had him there at your wedding or something, and I just loved it.
Yeah.
And so you took me somewhere and got me a CD of that type of guitar music.
Classical guitar, yeah.
And I loved it. I used to listen to it at work all the time. So my CD was almost always inside my computer at work. And I had to take my computer into somebody for some reason. I don't remember what. And I forgot to take the disc out.
Oh, no.
And so when I got the computer back, it wasn't in there.
Oh, no.
So I called, and he goes, oh, yeah, we had taken it out because we were all enjoying it. I'm sorry, we forgot to put it back. So, But somehow that has disappeared, and I've been very sad. You know,
Look at Pooh Bear's head.
the other day I wanted a prescription filled, and they said we can't fill it until such and such a date. And I called that day, and I went back to pick up some other prescription because I was like, I'll just wait until that other one's ready, right? No, they hadn't filled it. So I said, well, I really need that. And they said, well, it'll be a few hours. I said, well, I'll come back and get it tomorrow, you know.
But it better be filled tomorrow.
Or, you know, or something. No, it was done before I got home. If I'd known it was only going to be a couple minutes.
They're just making it up back there.
Yeah, so
I always think that must be a hard job.
Oh, I was going to say, when we were talking about going to Sam's Club and all that, we went to Walmart yesterday so we went to Sam's on Tuesday, we went to go groceries on Wednesday, and yesterday we went to Walmart because I had prescription stuff to pick up. No, it was Friday. Because we went to the attic and we went to to Walmart because we were debating, you know, which one to go to first. But anyway, so we went to Walmart. And because we were also talking about what to get for Robert for his birthday. So I was thinking about a couple of things, and so I thought maybe something for his car, and so I was in my little, you know, one of those little electronic carts, you know, and I was in the. I thought I would go over to the automotive thing, as I didn't know where the thing I was looking for was, where it was in the automotive department. And so I'm going down this aisle, and I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at that, and I'm thinking about, and I got to the end of the aisle, and there's one of those carts that they use, like when somebody's shopping, you know, for a customer, they're like
the shopper ones.
Yeah. And so it was like a metal cart with those blue bins on it or whatever. But there was, you know, so I was coming up and I was like, oh, it's one of those carts. But there was nobody there. And I thought, well, maybe the person that's doing the shopping, whatever, is, you know, around the corner, because it was right at the end, right? So I waited for just a few seconds, and then I'm like, okay, this person's obviously not around. Somebody left this cart there, and there was nobody, no clerk around or anything. So finally I just like, what the heck? And so I had to, you know, back up all the way down the aisle, because the aisle's not quite wide enough to like turn one of those carts around. So I'm like beep 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 all the way down, and then I'm like trying not to wreck and, you know, go too far this way or that way. And I'm like trying to go straight. I'm like beeping and like trying to like look behind me, like, where am I going? Where am I going? Got all the way to the end. Had to get, you know, back out into the aisle and then go around and I would decide, okay, I'm going to go down the next aisle. So I'm going down and I'm looking, you know, whatever. And there's two Walmart guys, employees, at the end of the aisle, just around the corner from where that cart was. Yeah. And they're talking to the blah, 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 blah. And they're saying, yeah, my department, we have blah, 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 you know. And so they're obviously just jawing. And I'm like, you know, coming up behind them. And finally the one guy, they were like, you know, one guy was kind of facing me. They were like this. So the guy who was, you know, facing this direction could see me coming. And he waited until I was like right behind that other guy, and he's like finally told him to move. And I'm like, could you like get the cart up? You know, just like, you know, they're just obviously just wasting time. Whatever they're supposed to be doing, they weren't doing anything.
If you could lean, you could clean.
Yeah, and I'm like, and then this other lady was coming around the other direction, you know, because she was asking, you know, where's such and such, and I'm like, don't ask these guys; they're just lazying around, you know.
So, but you know how McDonald's thing, if you have time to lean, you have time to clean, right? So they don't like you just standing around. Now, humans being what they are, they tend to just stand around if there's nobody around, making sure that they're not, right? So the McDonald's that I was working at, I was off that day. Thank God I was off that day. Or I had gotten off earlier that day. But there was this young girl that was working, and very, very pretty young girl. So all of the guys always wanted to talk to her, right? And she was standing in front of the fry station. And while she was standing there, just kind of leaning against it, but it's hot, so you can't just lean back, right? So she was standing there, and she was playing with the ansel, and it's a big loop handle so that you can see it easily. If you don't know what an ansel is, it's a fire retardant thing that comes down if there's like a grease fire or fire or something. And so she started to, whatever she was doing, I think she had her feet crossed, and she started to fall. And so she grabbed the ansel handle. She didn't know what it was, right? And to keep herself from falling forward, and of course it pulled out.
Oh no.
And that fire retardant went over everything.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They had to close the store.
Yeah.
The fire department came because a fire retardant thing had been used, right? And it had to be recharged and put back in, just like if you
like a fire extinguisher.
If you have a airbag deployed, you have to have it professionally put back in.
Yeah.
And the store had to shut down. They had to do all of that clean up. They had to refill. They had to drain all of the oil and put new oil in. They had to throw away all the food that had been made. And anybody that hadn't already gotten their food, they had to give them their money back because they weren't allowed to make anything else, And I was like, lady, if you'd been cleaning instead of leaning, never. and to be fair, they didn't fire her or anything like that. It was an accident. But it was so bad.
Speaking of shutdowns,
What?
your local Chick-fil-A's closed up, huh?
Is it?
Oh yeah, the one over by Joanne's.
Is it?
It's closed. They're remodeling it. You know how the one by the mall has that at the drive-through? You can they just walk right in. I think that's what they're doing there.
I don't understand.
At the one by the mall, when you go through drive-through, and you come up to the drive-through window, it's an actual door, and the employees walk in and out through it.
Instead of a window?
It's not just a window. And I think that's their new, because I remember when they were remodeling that one, and now they're remodeling this one, and when we drove by there today, the whole drive-through window's out.
You can go inside, but not through the drive-through, or what?
No, I think the whole thing's closed.
Oh.
Because they're redoing everything.
Well, that makes me sad.
I know. I was like, well, you gotta drive by the one by the mall, and you can see what I'm talking about. But so on Friday, so around here it's March Madness, right? And the Final Four, I don't know. I don't know sports, but I think Final Four is happening here.
Mm-hmm, yeah, because I saw some article. It's where is so and so team staying in Phoenix for the Final Four.
So they're so
once
downtown,
you can go stalk them.
Downtown is a nightmare.
Yeah.
And the worst of it was going to be on Friday because it's happening all this weekend. And so because on Friday it was going to be very bad, the symphony said you can work from home.
Mm-hmm.
So most people did. But I didn't because Eli works so close by that I'm like, he needed to, his office isn't closed up. So I just drove in and worked in the office for a little while, and then I had my appointment and stuff, and then I went back, which is a story in itself. But but because, and then the only other people there were the box office folks on the phones. So it was the manager and then the one or two reps. So, and I know that the manager feels the same way I do. Like, I would prefer to work in the dark without all the fluorescent lights. I hate them. And, like, I even have the building manager taken out some of the fluorescents over my desk so that it's not so horribly bright right over me. And the box office manager feels the same way. She's, like, on the opposite end of the bank of cubicles that I am. And there was no one else in the office all day. A couple people trickled in and out. But I just had my desk lamp on, and we were just working in the dark. And, you know, it's like one of those kind of school's closed kind of days. And so I left to go to the doctor's appointment, and I had to get meds, and I had to do all this stuff. And I had to stop by the yarn shop. And then I went back. But so when I was going back into town, it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And it was a nightmare. It took me forever to get back to the garage. So anyway, I go in, and I see, when I walked in to talking to the box office manager lady, and young lady, and I look at the opposite end of the office, and I can see our CEO's light on. And I was like, oh, he came in, I can't believe it. And his office is close to my cubicle. And so I went, and I know that he always is always like, if we have the lights off, he'll walk in and turn them on, like usually, but he didn't, and I was surprised. So I was sitting at my desk, and the copier is right at like the end of my cubicle, and which is kind of a pain because people steal my scissors and they steal my stapler and my tape, and I have this like a closet type part of my cubicle which has it's nice, it's got a little closet door where I can hang my coats and everything. Well, the top of that belongs to my cubicle, okay? But everybody uses it for extra paper, and you know, so it's always something. They just throw stuff up there. I'm like, this is part of my desk. I even have my Lego flowers on there, a little gnome. Like, this is part of my desk. Anyway, so the copier's right there, and he came out of his office to pick up a copy that he was printing. And I said, oh, sorry, we're all working in the dark. And he goes, it's very odd. Which is his favorite phrase. It's very odd. But I'm not going to say anything. I'm like, we just don't like fluorescent lights. And I guess we're going to get replacements because we're all moving. We're moving off. We're expanding into another side of the office. Anyway, as part of that, they're going to replace the fluorescents with, he said, I think we're getting LEDs. And part of me was like, no. Because LEDs are so bright. I call them ghost lights. Because you know, in the horror movies, whenever there's a ghost or whatever, the lights go. So when Mark will replace something that used to be incandescent or something, you know, because you can't get those anymore, with a ghost light. I'm like, ghost light. But anyway, it was just very funny. It's very odd. But I'm not going to say anything.
We used to have, at Family Life, there was a sort of a cubicle that I called what was that thing they used to do in Get Smart with the cone that would come down? It was supposed to like give you
cone of silence.
Yeah.
Oh, so, yeah, the cone of silence.
But no, I know what it was. I used to call it the sensory deprivation cubicle.
Oh.
Because you know their floor, the building was built with these the pillars in between, and when they set up all the cubicles, my cubicle was larger. It was weird. It was, for a while I was in a really nice square that had high walls and all that stuff, but then at some point we rearranged things, and they decided to use that cubicle for like supplies, and so I was then out on the floor, and my cubicle was then sort of like long and narrow, whatever. But so on the other side of my cubicle was this thing that was technically supposed to be a cubicle, but the pillar was in there. So it was like this much desk, and then the pillar, and then this much desk. And so theoretically, I think you could have put a computer in there or something, but you would have had this pillar in your face. And so I got the sensory deprivation cubicle because it's like there's anybody could sit there.
Yeah.
Because you would go insane. It was
that's
like
the
being
punishment cubicle.
solitary confinement.
We're the symphony used to occupy 2 halves of this floor, and then during COVID and everything, they contracted, and they contracted only to one side, and then somebody rented out the other side. Although they still have there's still a connecting door into our box office space. Mm-hmm. And then because we started to expand again, they annexed this tiny little piece of office over on the other side, where there's just like a couple of offices, some cubicles, a kitchen, and our big conference room. So now we have the people that are over there moved out, or they are in the process of moving out, and we're going to go back to our original 2 halves, right? Mm-hmm. But because everything that used to obviously there is gone, and we had to purchase cubicles to go in the center of that office, and my over the wall neighbor is our executive assistant, so she's been in charge of finding the furniture and and everything, and she's like, she was always showing me like, and I guess there was some that didn't have that had the option of that closet cabinet. And she's like, it's an extra $100. I said, I will pay $100 out of my own money to have that closet. I said, I want my closet because I love it. I feel like Fred Rogers every morning. I go in and I hang up my coat and I get my sweater, but I'm like, I love having that space to put my sweaters or coats or whatever. And, so.
Well,
like,
and also just
so.
She said,
so she came
stuff,
in. She said about our CEO, it's like, he approved the closet, the extra closet piece. I was like,
yes. when I had that long elongated cubicle thing, I had a space like my desk was sort of L-shaped, and so I had behind me like drawers or something, and so my computer was in the corner kind of, and so the underneath part of the desk was also L-shaped, and it was like, it's like in that Seinfeld episodes where George had a bed under his desk. I was like, I could put a bed under there and just lie down and go to sleep.
I'm looking forward to, but I think ours has like some people have anyway, it has upper shelves, and I have like a magnetic back whiteboard, which I really like. Have pictures up there and stuff. So, but I'm gonna have a pillar as part of my cubicle somehow. But I'm kind of glad about it because I'm gonna put stuff. I'm gonna decorate it like a wall. I'm excited to move.
So I think we have been filming long enough.
Yes.
Yes. And I've got Pooh Bear's head. Now, Disney, do not come after Claire Garland. She does not call it Pooh Bear. I call it Pooh Bear. But here's his head. This is the back of his head and starting the top of his head.
So when I lived in Florida, I lived close to Disney.
I shouldn't even said the word. I shouldn't even said the D word because now they will come after her.
Yeah. I lived close to it. And in Orlando, there was a a child care place. I couldn't remember what they're called.
Daycare.
Yeah, there's a daycare, and they decided to paint Disney characters on the side of their building.
Oh,
now,
no. They got in trouble.
It's in the same town as Disney. So I guess somebody from Disney drove by and saw Disney characters. And there was a big thing. And they're like, we're not making money off of Disney, but these are little kids who love Disney.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they said, no, you can't have it there. It's advertising. You can't have it. Or
it's
something.
Free advertising for you.
Right. But they just said, no, you can't. But it was in the news because the daycare was being sued by Disney, right? Mm-hmm. So big giant Susie, suing tiny little business, right?
Wow.
So they said, okay, whatever, we'll take it down, but we don't want to pay you any money, blah, blah, blah. So Hanna-Barbera was mad about this. And Hanna-Barbera, with their own money, went and painted Hanna-Barbera characters on the side of the building.
Fine. I'll do it.
And it's fine to protect your brand, but sometimes you have to not be so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you don't know who Hanna-Barbera is, that's like
Then
Bugs
you're
Bunny.
too young.
It's Bugs
I was
Bunny
gonna
and stuff like
I was
that.
gonna say when I've been watching those first time watching reaction videos
Yeah.
on YouTube, and it's amazing to me like how many people like have like, oh, I've never seen any Alfred Hitchcock movies, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? They've never seen Psycho, they've never seen Rear Window, whatever, and
That's like musicians never having heard the Beatles.
yeah, and so like it's like it's like it kind of like sometimes they know like they know the name Norman Bates, or they know the Bates Motel or whatever, but they've never actually seen the movie.
They don't know what it's about.
Yeah, and they or they seen that TV series about
Speaking of, well, isn't Bugs Bunny Warner Brothers?
Yeah.
But anyway, speaking of Bugs,
Hanna-Barbera is some other cartoon
cartoons.
Yeah.
You know,
I thought it was.
No,
You're right. Bugs Bunny is Warner Brothers.
Hey, Boo Boo, what's his name?
Yogi Bear.
Yogi Bear.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of Bugs Bunny, we're doing Bugs Bunny at the Symphony movie
Oh, yeah.
next season. Yeah, where they show the movie and the
Which Bugs Bunny?
It's just Bugs Bunny at the movies, so it's all the little ones,
Yeah.
The little,
Oh my
Because
goodness!
they use classical music for all kinds of things.
My goodness!
That's going to be a lot of fun. And Nightmare Before Christmas and Empire Strikes Back and
Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Another one.
I'm so sad that I missed the other one.
What's it? Nightmare Before Christmas, Bugs Bunny. Oh, Jurassic World. Yeah, so it'll be fun. All right, well, thanks so much for joining us for one more week of nonsense and stitching, and we will see you next week. Bye.